I saw a news story on a kidnapping at a playground the other day. Unfortunately, he never did wake up. What's up, weirdos? Scott here. Thanks again for visiting the channel. As always, I appreciate it. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the content. And today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, I'm doing a quick unboxing today. As you can see, I have a package here from Manganas Steel. Sharif Manganas, one of my buddies from YouTube. He does have his own YouTube channel. He is a knife designer. He's been designing knives for quite some time. He's had Kaiser make a lot of his designs. And as you can see here, he actually had Kaiser make his first production knife that he's going to be selling on his own website, and it's very exciting. I've been excited about this knife for a really long time, but now that everybody's getting them, everybody's raving about it, and there's specific reasons for that. So I'm going to get into that here in just a second. First, I'll go through what you're going to get into the package. I'm not going to lie, I have been in here. I couldn't resist. I got this last night, and I've been waiting for this knife for quite some time. It was a pre-order. I'm happy to finally have it, and it's spectacular, guys. So anyway, in this little folder here, whatever you want to call it, I just ripped it because I'm an idiot. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, good. So you've just got a little bit of a cleaning cloth in here. It's pretty small cleaning cloth, but that's all right. It's got his logo on it and his name. I like this a lot. I like that. You know, I like that Kaiser sends little cleaning cloths along. Civivi sends a little cleaning cloths along. It makes it a little bit of a better purchase for most people, in my opinion. I have 1,000 of these things, but I use them, so what's the big deal, right? Okay, so that's that part of the knife. You've also got the little pouch here, which has the knife inside of it. And then here's another one of the really nice parts. You get a certificate of authenticity, if I can talk. Caimano Tanto, blade steel is S35 VN. The HRC is 60 to 62. You don't normally get the HRC on your COAs. The year of production is 23-24. Maker is Manganas Steel, and Sharif Manganas is the designer. Here's another nice thing here. They show you exactly what they check on the knife, so that it's, you know, if it's wrong when you get it, you know they checked it, and you can send it back and have them fix whatever's wrong. But they do a visual review and overlay consistency, blade centering, action review, blade play lock rock, detent lash, and even grinds. And this knife, all of these aspects are done very, very well on this knife. So it's awesome that he double checks that to make sure that the consistency is there. He also sends you a little baggie with all of your replacement parts. Everything on this knife can be replaced. If you lose the bearings, there's extra bearings. If you lose one of the body screws, there's extra body screws. If you lose the pivot, there's an extra pivot. And there's also, as you can see here, I'm going to take this out just so that I can show you the difference. You get an extra milled titanium pocket clip, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, come on. Who else sends you an extra milled titanium pocket clip with your knife? I've never seen anybody do that. It is a little bit different from the original pocket clip. I'll show you that in just a minute here. But I'm going to get rid of this box, and well, I'll also show you the rest of the hardware. So you've got a steel lock bar insert, you've got the bearings, you've got body screws, you've got a pivot, you've got a lock bar, I'm sorry, not a lock bar, a stop pin. I mean, everything that you need to rebuild this knife is in here, which is absolutely fantastic in my humble opinion. Okay, let's get to the knife, guys. So you get a nice little pouch here. This is what Kaiser sends their premium knives in. This is obviously a premium knife. I'm fairly certain that I paid $250 or $265 for this guy. The other version of this is the Purple Haze Fat Carbon, and that one is, I believe, $275, something like that, $275, $280. As you can see, I've gotten into this. I've got all kinds of dog hair and rabbit hair and all kinds of other shit all over it, so I'm sorry about that. But I did get the natural micarta. If you've been watching my channel for more than a couple of weeks, you'll know that I am an absolute slut for natural micarta. A lot of my knives are in natural micarta. This is a little subdued. I am going to throw some oil on here and get those scales to darken up. But here's the knife, guys. Flipper operated. You've also got an opening hole here, which you can reverse flick or thumb flick with absolute ease. I'll go ahead and open this guy up for you so you can see the whole thing. Very aggressive blade shape here, guys. I mean, this is amazing. This thing looks badass. You have a excuse me. You have a blade that is, let's see here, 3.75 inches with a 3.5-inch cutting edge. You've got a hollow ground here, flat ground here, compound ground on this blade. You've also got a swedge that starts at about 60% the length of the blade and goes all the way out towards the tip. You've got a flat grind here, which carries out about 80% the length of the blade, maybe 75. And then, as I said, you've got this opening hole here, and then that poon. I fucking love that poon, guys. I don't own a lot of harpoon ground blades. I think the only other one that I have is my Sharp Eye Design Evo Typhoon. I absolutely love harpoon notches on blades, and everybody says they don't have any function, but in my opinion, they kind of do. If you want to kind of choke up and do like a pinch grip type thing here, you can get a lot of control just by using this harpoon notch, and that's really comfortable too as well. As you can see here, I'm going to get fingerprints on this blade, guys, sorry. As you can see here, the only real, I'd say, nitpick that I have on this guy, and it's very minimal, I kind of wish they had gone horizontally with this grind on the flat, just to give it some, what's the word? Jesus Christ, some contrast between the vertical grind lines here, and there could have been some horizontal grind lines here. So I kind of feel like that was a missed opportunity, but this is his first knife, guys. I mean, honestly, his first production knife, premium production knife that he's doing on his site. In my opinion, this guy is spectacular. There's not a lot that you can pick out on this guy that could have been done differently. He did a very, very good job with this, and so did Kaiser, in my opinion. Not a huge fan of Kaiser. I own a few Kaiser knives, but this one definitely is my favorite knife made by Kaiser. Now I'll show you the pocket clips here. As you can see here, this is just a little bit lighter than the bead blasted pocket clip on this guy. So you can see that there's a little bit of a color difference there. I think that's why they sent it, in case you wanted a little bit more of a subdued pocket clip, or not subdued, but a little bit of a lighter pocket clip, maybe to give it a little bit more contrast. But I like having the regular pocket clip on there for sure. I like this guy a lot better than I like this one. Okay, so moving on. You've got the flipper tab here. Rockets out with the flipper tab, guys. There's a little bit of jimping here on the spine of the blade. Very, very comfortable. The ergonomics on this guy are money. 100%. Just so comfortable. You can't choke up on this knife at all, but you don't really need to. I mean, there's plenty of the handle in my hand here. I've got a good grip on it. And the way he designed this knife, it's just very, very comfortable in the hand. You've got a nice acute cutting tip here. You've got the secondary acute puncture tip here. You've got the secondary cutting tip here. As I said, on the other side as well, you've got a flat grind on the tip, and then you've got a hollow grind on the rest of the blade. This guy is definitely running on bearings for sure. I can show you how this guy drops. I mean, look, watch this. All right, down to the detent, and you've got the flipper tab resting on your thumb. As soon as you move your thumb, it's going to fall back down into the handle. I mean, I don't know that I'd call it guillotine, but it's smooth and consistent, but just drop shutty for sure, 100%. I mean, this is hinderer action right here. Something. I mean, honestly, if I hadn't known where this came from, I would guess Riot. Honestly, I really would. The consistency of the fit and finish on this is pretty good. There are a few issues here. As you can see, there's a little bit of a gap between these areas here where it meets the titanium. I would normally not say anything about that if it was consistent all the way down, but as you can see down here, it fits in a little closer than it does up here on the flat part and up here on the flat part. Same thing on the other side. You've got a little bit of a gap here, but right here it's perfectly flush up to the titanium. That again is a little bit of a nitpick. It's not anything, you know, gross negligence or incompetence or anything like that. It's just a little bit off, which is not a big deal for me. You've got, just like I said, the captive pivot here. There's a few body screws. These would not be here if this was not reversible for lefties. That's fantastic that he did that as well. I'd say that I don't know that I'm not going to call this minimal hardware. It's definitely not, but it's not, you know, overly abundant with hardware at all. You've got the 2 screws here for the pocket clip. You've got 2 body screws here, and then a screw for the pivot. Same thing on the other side. You've got 2 screws here for the pocket clip, 2 body screws, and then the pivot, and then you have the screw here for the lock bar insert. I love the milling that they did on the lock bar. See if I can just get that focused in for you. So the milling here on the lock bar gives you quite a bit to grab onto when you're disengaging this knife. You have the front scale is milled down just a little bit to give you extra access to that lock bar. And the access to the lock bar on this guy is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, faux bolster titanium scales, no milling on the inside, but this isn't a very heavy knife. I'll go ahead and weigh it for you, just for shits and gigs. And I haven't weighed it yet, so I'm not sure exactly how much it weighs, but let's see here. Okay. Probably under 6 ounces. Yeah, 5.4. 5.4 ounces both sides. Yes, 5.4 ounces. So that's fantastic. Nice carry weight. It's not super huge, but it's not a smaller knife either. It's definitely a full-size knife. Let me see if I can give you the full length on this guy. So this guy looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and little over 8.5 inches. I'd say 8.65 inches overall. The handle here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4.85 inches overall, I think it is. Absolutely fantastic micarta here. I love micarta. You guys know that. Aside from the fit and finish issues, these are very, very thin micarta scales that lay on top of these titanium scales. And as you can see here, it is perfectly centered. Perfectly centered. I love the milling on the back spacer here, and all of this titanium here, as you can see, has been nicely bead blasted. Very consistent. There's no inconsistencies in the way the titanium looks at all. There's no streaks. There's no extra dimpling or anything like that. The flipper tab works fantastic. There's a little bit of jimping here. It's not a super tall flipper tab, but it's definitely easy to access that guy. I've been using the thumb hole and the finger hole to get this guy open and closed, and those work, in my opinion, those are more satisfying than using the flipper, but that's just my opinion. You can reverse flick this. The detent on this guy also is set absolutely perfectly for whether you're flipping it or using the reverse finger flick or the thumb flick. Works very, very well. The detent is set absolutely perfectly on this guy, in my opinion. The star of the show here, I think, in my opinion, is the blade. I love the way this blade looks for sure. Sharif did a fantastic job designing this knife, in my opinion. You've also got a little bit of a cutout relief here for the titanium lock bar. Let's see where you're locking up here. Looks like you're locking up at about 25 to 30%, which is great. And is there anything else to say about this guy? The blade steel is S35VN. You can see that on the back here. This is number 16, and you've also got the Manganas symbol there on the lock side of the blade. The show side of the blade is completely sterile, which I love. And this action, guys, let me get you the acoustics as well. All right, yeah, I love the acoustics on this knife as well. It doesn't sound like any other titanium frame lock I've ever heard. You can hear kind of like a whooshing. You can hear the titanium rubbing against. I'm sorry, you can hear the steel detent rubbing against the blade as it's opening, and then a nice little solid click as it gets out to the stop pin there. Absolutely solid. No blade play left, right, up, or down. And this thing is fucking great. I love it. I was so excited about this knife, and then my buddies started getting theirs in, and I started getting really, really jealous. I did know that Sharif was sending them out in the order in which he received the orders, so I knew I was going to be last, close to the last, because I wasn't able to afford this knife until just a few months ago. But he has made 200 of this particular kind, and he also made 100 of the Purple Haze Fat Carbon. So this is number 16 of 200, which is a really low number for me. That's really cool in my opinion as well. Also, I'm going to show you they knocked down these edges in the opening hole really, really well. I mean, just you can see how much attention to detail they paid on this particular knife. In my opinion, Sharice got a home run here on his hands. I'm really excited to see what else he comes out with. I think he's going to do very, very well with this company. So that's the unboxing for today, guys. I'll spend a couple of weeks with this knife, and then I'll do the full comprehensive review. I hope you guys are looking forward to that as well. And I'll be doing some more unboxings here tomorrow or the next day, and I hope you guys enjoy those as well. I hope you guys have a good evening, and stay up, weirdos. Take it easy. Bye.